Hi, this is Bren Masson, host of Freshwaves, Whistle FM's Wednesday morning talk show. April is Organ Donation Awareness Month in Canada, so we are bringing awareness to the airwaves with real-life stories of real organ donors, families who have made the difficult decision in moments of extreme tragedy to donate a loved one's organs, and organ recipients themselves. Join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to hear these heartwarming and inspirational stories on Fresh Waves. And go to beadonor.ca and register to be a donor today.
Today I'm gonna try to change the world.
I'm your host, Bren Masson, and live in the studio today we have Jen, who is a kidney recipient and has been given the gift of life in 10 years with her son that she may not have had before this. And we have France, who is a donor. She's a walking, talking, breathing donor here. We're so happy to have her on board. And now joining us on the telephone is Christine Humphreys from the Eye Bank of Canada. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Well, we're excited to have you. I was explaining to the listeners before we went for our break that 3 weeks ago, when my mom went for her ophthalmology appointment, she's 89, and I just kind of mentioned to the doctor, hey, we're doing a show on organ donation. Do people actually donate their eyes? And he said, yeah, call the Eye Bank. I said, what? I had no idea. I honestly had no idea that there was such a thing as an eye bank in terms of transplant. I mean, I can imagine there's an eye bank in terms of research, but I was shocked.
Yeah, the eye bank has actually, we were established back in 1955, actually, so we've been around for a really long time. It was kind of put together by the CNIB, the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, as well as the University of Toronto Department of Ophthalmology and the Canadian Ophthalmological Society. So we've been around for quite some time. We were originally with U of T, and we moved over to Kensington Health Centre back in July 2015.
Wow. So what exactly do you do?
So our mandate is for processing and distribution for donated eyes from all healthcare centres in the province of Ontario. So any donated eyes may come from hospitals, nursing homes, funeral homes, hospices throughout the province. They come to the eye bank, and we will process them, we'll evaluate them, and we'll make a decision on whether or not to release the tissue for surgical or transplant purposes. And when we can't do that, and if we have consent for research and training, we use those tissues for research and training if we can't transplant. So we do everything from donor screening, evaluation. We pre-process the tissue in order to get it ready for the surgeons. We do a lot of stuff here, actually.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, when people say that the cornea replacement, is that under your jurisdiction as well, or is that something completely different?
No, so what we do is, well, not we do, the physicians, they will transplant corneas, they will also transplant sclera, and they will also transplant amniotic membrane, which we provide.
Isn't that neat? Okay, so we've had some questions from listeners, and I think this is the day of our 4-part series that we're asking some pretty tough questions. So somebody said, I'll donate everything but my eyes. How will I be able to see in the afterlife if I don't have my eyes?
Well, I know we think of eyes as the window to the soul, and it's something that is really important. A window in a house is, they say it's the bearer of the wind, the bearer of good news, the bearer of sad news, and it's a common metaphor and expression for saying that the eyes give you insight into their inner world. But the way I see it is, once someone passes away, that soul has left the body, and most organizations, in terms of religious affiliations, they actually support donation, and so donation itself is a good thing, and I don't think anyone would be punished for donating their eyes or their corneas, because in fact you're restoring sight and improving vision and improving quality of life for many other people. Personally, that's what I believe anyway.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so another listener has asked, I would like to have an open casket for my loved one. How can I do that if I've donated their eyes?
So there's two things that can actually happen. You can donate your corneas only, or you can donate your eyes. But all recoveries in the province are done by Trillium Gift of Life Network staff, and they take the utmost care and pay the utmost respect to the donors and the deceased when they're doing their recoveries. They take many steps to try and ensure that there's no bruising or swelling, and so they treat the donor very respectfully. Additionally, the funeral homes work with the deceased to restore their appearance after death. So depending on what the donor themselves or the family is comfortable with, they can donate either their eyes or their corneas, although we do have a little bit of more flexibility in the use of the tissue of its eyes. There are times, most of the time in fact, it's just the corneas that are recovered and sent to us.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different options, and if the family is concerned, basically Trillium talks to the family about whether or not there's going to be an open casket funeral, and basically that information is relayed to make sure that the utmost care is taken on that patient when the recovery is done. Okay.
So another question, and it's it's been said over and over and over again, I'm too old to donate my eyes.
Yeah, that's very common. We get a lot of people thinking that they're too old or their eyesight isn't good. And the fact of the matter is anybody can donate their eyes, especially for research and teaching purposes. But in terms of being too old, we'll take any donor. Now, for the most part, we transplant within the ages of newborn to 75. But there's a lot of value in donating for research and teaching as well. We provide approximately 1,700 tissues for training purposes, and probably about 200 tissues a year for research as well. And so these go to provide training opportunities for new physicians who are just learning their craft before they go out and practice on a real patient. So, I mean, it really is the practice of medicine. So having these tissues is quite valuable, whether it's for improving sight, curing diseases, helping understand disease processes better, or training staff, or for transplant. It's all very valuable and hard to come by tissue.
Yeah. Okay. So we have been hearing a lot of stories about organ donation, and how people have been helped. We have had double lung transplant patients on the show. We've had kidney recipients, liver recipients. Tell us a little bit about the people who receive the gift of sight.
So a lot of our recipients have some type of disease process that renders them basically blind, and so there's common diseases in kind of the older populations after the age of 50. They're called endothelial dystrophies, and so basically what happens is the eyes don't function properly. The corneas become swollen and opaque, and people can't see. So if you think about it from a recipient perspective, they can't do their daily, everything that they do on a daily basis. So they can't drive, they can't read the paper, they can't see their grandchildren. It's very hard for them to even maintain employment for many of these people who are younger who get these surgeries that take place. And there are many diseases in younger folks, like keratoconus, which is a thinning of the cornea, which can lead to blindness and perforation and loss of the eye altogether. So if you were to think about all of your day-to-day activities for which you depended on your eyes to enable you to carry out in a normal fashion every day, and you take that away, it's truly a transformative experience for recipients. And there has been a study to say that people with their eyesight actually live longer than those without their eyesight, especially those that have had vision and then lose it. It's a profound impact on their life, and it changes everything. So these recipients are beyond grateful that they can carry out their normal daily activities of life. And I just, we get a lot of letters from recipients to donor families thanking them for the gift of sight. I can't even explain it properly in a way that a recipient could, but it's profoundly impactful.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine. I can well imagine. Now, would it be possible then to use eye transplants for accidents and things like that, where through an accident the eyesight has been damaged?
Yes, that does happen from time to time. Infections, accidents are common reasons why someone may need a transplant. Of course, it depends on the type of accident.
Right.
But ocular tissue is often used for injuries from chemical burns, also from autoimmune diseases that take place in the body. So that's why it's so important to wear eye protection. You never know when something could happen, especially a job-related accident. Those are probably the most common, but even in daily activities of life, accidents happen. You can get debris and whatnot that enter the eye and result in infection or other process that it's unable. The physician is unable to save the cornea, and they need to replace either the whole cornea or parts of the cornea.
Okay. Well, that's
also common for people with cataracts or with glaucoma to need surgery as well. And so the white part of the eye, the sclera, is also invaluable for physicians when doing glaucoma surgeries, especially when they have to implant devices into the eye. So there's all sources of all these different sources of tissue are used for basically many components in the eye to replace it.
It's a fascinating field, one that, like I said, a lot of people don't think about. But it's what a gift! What a gift to be able to give someone the gift of sight.
No, absolutely. It's incredible, and that's why I have such dedicated staff and why we all do what we do. It's amazing to be able to, I mean, many people think of it as a downer and someone's died, and it's terrible. And while that is true, at the same time, in your day-to-day work, you're helping people to see again. It doesn't get much better and rewarding than that.
No, it doesn't, and it's like I said, if you don't think about it, it's something that maybe doesn't ever cross your mind. But again, what a lovely gift to give someone.
Yes, I don't think you can ever truly thank someone for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much for talking to us this morning, Christine. It's been wonderfully informative and inspiring. I think increasing awareness about what, in fact, you can do by donating your organs is just a wonderful thing to do.
It is. So please, if you haven't registered your consent, go to beadonor.ca and sign up to be a donor today. It's very easy. All
right. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Well, that was really interesting. And now I know it's radio, and I see France looking like a little dog in the back window of the car, just bobbing her head up and down. Isn't it amazing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the message there is that do not disqualify yourself in any ways. as potentially be an organ or tissue donors. We sometimes, when raising awareness, what we hear, and it goes back to what Christine had mentioned, sometimes the people we meet on the street will say, well, I unfortunately been through through cancer, so I cannot anymore be of a donor, but let the professional do the job. Because I was told, and maybe I'm talking through the top of my hat, but eyesight or part of eyes can be transplanted, even though a patient was in a process of fighting cancer or survivor. So this is at all levels, to make a little difference, to make a difference in someone's life, and when it doesn't change anything to yours. As a living donor, that's a privilege, because it just enhances my life. Donating an organ, doesn't change anything in terms of the mechanic or my anatomy. Everything is still functioning perfectly well, and then someone gets the benefit of that. Yeah. And so, I also signed my donor card, and beside that, I'm taking very good care of my remaining kidney, because this one, is meant to be for someone down the road. Mm-hmm. When and where, we don't know, but it's gonna be available.
Okay. And Jen, what did you think when you're listening to Christine?
That it's amazing that they've been around since 1950s.
Yeah.
That I didn't know it existed.
I've worn glasses since I was 7 years old, and I never knew there was an eye bank. I've been in doctor's offices since I was a little kid for eyes, and I've never seen a sign that says donate your eyes. Beadonor.ca, donate your eyes. I didn't even know it was a thing.
And if you want to know confirmation that you are an organ donor, you can look at your health card, the new ones, and there's numbers in the back. And that means if you go on the internet, it tells you what the 9 mean, what the 6 means. That means, okay, I'm only donating 6 of my organs, or I'm donating all my organs, or I'm not donating my eyes, I'm not donating this organ, I want to keep this organ. So the new health card has that information on the back of the green health card.
On the back of mine, it just says donor on there, but I'll have to have another look and see if there's a number on there.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
I'm looking at Jason because he's looking really confused. I could say something right now. Aren't I being nice, Jay?
You're being very nice, Jay. You're a good friend.
Okay, actually, I spoke with someone yesterday who went and registered, and they were sent another card in the mail, and they thought, oh, well, it looks the same as my other card. I don't need this card, and then realized that in fact it had different numbers on it. And when she went to the doctor's office, they said, well, no, you should have received a new card because now you're a donor. And she said, no, well, yeah, but all right. So yes, when you get the new card, that's the one you use, not the old one.
And did you hear about Nova Scotia?
Yes.
They've opt-out.
The opt-out.
Yes.
Isn't that a wonderful plan? That you assume that everyone is an organ donor, and you have to opt out of the program if you so choose. And apparently they've been lobbying the Canadian government to do that for years for the country, and it's not gone over well with the federal government. So if anyone has federal government ties out there and you're listening to the show, please remind the federal government that this would be something that, as a nation, we should look at adopting. Because I think it's a good thing, don't you?
It is.
It's a really good thing. All right, we're going to take a little break. Jason, this is Fresh Waves on Whistle FM. I'm your host, Bren Masson. Jason Rumball is our technical producer behind the board today. And we'll be back right after this brief pause.
Hi, this is Bren Masson, host of Fresh Waves. April is Organ Donation Awareness Month in Canada. If you haven't already done so, please go to beadonor.ca and register as an organ donor. It only takes a second, and it's a decision you'll never regret. Be a donor. Save a life. Go to beadonor.ca.
Today I'm gonna try to change the world.
On Fresh Waves, I'm your host, Bren Masson. This morning in the studio, we have Jen and France. See, I'm not saying France, I'm saying France. Because she is French. and completely bilingual from what I can hear. So, ladies, you guys are constantly going out into the community. You are part of awareness that doesn't take place just in the month of April and then drop off and not come back until next April. This is an ongoing thing with you where you're always out doing something. Tell me about some of the events that you've covered and some of the places where you've been and the people you've met.
So we don't only do it during April because, we need organ and tissue. It's all year long.
Right.
So that's why we have to be everywhere all the time and just grasp this opportunity to talk about organ donation. So being part of the Kidney Foundation, we do fundraise different occasions during the year. So we do the kidney walks that are all over Canada, and many of them are in Ontario from September to October. And we're part of the Canadian Transplant Association. So again, we have many activities that support organ and tissue donation and the healthy life post-transplant for recipient, but including also donors and family of deceased donors. And myself, I'm a transplant ambassador, which is a new initiative with Ontario Renal Network. So what we do, either as kidney recipient or living donor, we are actually in 13 centers in Ontario, and it's a peer support group. So we go to the kidney care clinic, to the hemodialysis unit, to the home dialysis, and we're there to support patient, family, and caregivers in terms of having them by telling our story, answering their question. So to help them through their journey that could be anywhere from their first visit to being close to, end stage of kidney failure. So that's what we do. But it's everywhere that we are, and you'll be surprised that once you have that talk with people that about organ donation, that there is always someone somewhere that knows someone or has a family member that has been diagnosed with such and such condition. And it has a total ripple effect. And if we can, through what we're doing, support and show that organ donation, as much as from a recipient perspective and a living donor, that organ donation works. Organ donation runs. Organ donation, this is, as I was saying, that's the new wings. And again, I will preach for my own village, but it does change a life. And we tend to say that it's a win-win situation, but at the end of the day, I always say when my brother is not in the picture that I am the winner, because giving is receiving, and knowing that personally I'm healthy and was healthy enough to donate. So that's why I encourage people, and it's not a matter of being a hero. It's a matter of being generous, thinking of the others and what you can do to make a difference. And I will invite people to come and, walk by my closet and there is no cape hanging there. People always tend to say, oh, you guys are hero. No, if I was able to do it, you may as well be able to do it and go through that testing that is just a bonus value, because not everybody in Ontario or in the world get this opportunity to be tested from head to toe, and knowing that you're healthy enough, or if there are a few bumps in the road that you will know from then, or they will manage to resolve. So, and then you look at your recipient, or the recipient of the organ you donated, living, full speed, like if tomorrow will not exist. This is priceless.
Absolutely. So you were down at the First Canadian Place in downtown Toronto doing an awareness campaign. Yes.
Last April, a year ago, so we were we were volunteering with the Organ Project there at the RBC Tower, so a very busy corner in downtown Toronto, and distributing brochure. And I mean, with the ups and downs that it brings when you raise awareness, there are the pros and cons, and you have questions. And at one point, a lady is telling me, she said, "Oh, I'm very, very, very busy now. I'm going down to the food court, having my lunch, and no, I cannot donate any organ. I mean, I've been through cancer." I said, "But you know that your eyes could potentially be donated for the gift of sight." So there she was, going for a lunch. On her way back, she stopped by me and she said, "If I have something that I can tell you today, thank you. Thank you for bringing that to me. And I will go online and I will register knowing that I could, even though I went through cancer, that my eyes can potentially make a difference." So I said, "Well, there, you just made my day."
Absolutely. If that's the only thing that happened in that entire day, it was a worthwhile day.
Absolutely.
Incredible. Jen, you've been furiously scratching away there on your little paper, and so I know you have something to say. Short of jumping up and down and putting your hand up in the air saying, "Pick me," I know you have something to say.
Where to start?
Where to start? That's right. Because there's so much information I want to share with.
Okay.
That I joined the Team Transplant Dragon Boat team, and I'm like,
What's a dragon boat?
It's like 20 paddlers. There's a drummer and there's the captain in the back.
Oh.
And there's a whole bunch of dragon boat people with the paddlers. And the big one is called the GWN down at Ontario Place. It's free to attend. And we're the only organ transplant team in Toronto that competes down there. And
So you must know Melody because she's been involved in that dragon boat.
Yes. And I'm like, "Don't you have to be muscular?" No. So I'm like, "Okay, I'll try it." So I just joined it. Last year was my second year. And I'm good. It's so good because we all have something in common to talk about, transplant. So when I meet them, which organ did you get? And, it's a social thing. And it's also bringing awareness. We have a table. We have a booth. We talk about to be a donor and the green ribbon and signing up, and we tell people our stories there.
Mm-hmm. And I heard that of all of the dragon boats in the competition, you guys have the most fun.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I'm sure.
I've heard other people say, "They're a great bunch of folks over there. They're having a blast."
Yes, we do have fun there. Yes. And then I also help out with the Canadian Transplant Association if they want volunteers to come out. Like the Green Shirt Day down at Toronto City Hall.
Yes.
A group of us went down there to show appreciation, and the Toronto sign was lit up for green, and we had a get-together down there.
That sounds great. I thought Jason was down there too, weren't you, Jay?
No, I was in Richmond Hill at the arena there.
At the arena in Richmond Hill.
The
I saw
Graham.
pictures.
Yeah.
You're very active on Facebook.
I sure am.
Lots
Lots going on. It's been a busy month.
Happy Jay all the way.
Happy J all the way. That's
Facebook
right.
today.
Exactly.
There you go.
And then there's a kidney walk. I volunteered first time last year, High Park, and that's around October. And then at Mississauga, and then I volunteer with the Trillium Gift of Life.
So you're really busy.
Yes, I'm busy because I want to show appreciation. That to tell people, please sign your card. You have nothing to lose. You're passed away.
Only everything to give.
Yes, and then Toronto General Hospital is having organ awareness this month on April 23rd. Please come and meet some of the organ transplant and donors. There'll be heart transplant recipient, lungs, kidney. And then guess what? St. Michael's Hospital is celebrating the 50th anniversary of organ transplant. 50, yes, 50. And that is this April 26th, next Friday.
So there's a lot going on, and you can go to I'm sure you can go to the Kidney Foundation's website, and you can
go to the Canadian Transplant Association website, to be a donor to Trillium Gift of Life,
right?
St. Michael's Hospital, Toronto General Hospital.
Yeah, And Jason, you're out of St. Mike's, aren't you?
That's right, yeah.
Your doctors and everything are out of St. Mike's.
That's right, and that's where I go to more about my fistula to find out what's the problem is there, because the fistula isn't buzzing right now, so I have to go and see the...
you are?
I'm buzzing, but not the arm, yeah.
Okay.
So we've got to find out why the arm isn't buzzing, and then, get that figured out for...
I think they're just going to zap you.
maybe that's all they have to do is just zap me, and then...
Give you a little jolt.
Exactly, that's
there
it.
There you go. Well, tell them that Happy J all the way. That's how it works, so they have to fix it.
Of course. Oh, they will.
Okay.
They'll do a good job.
Well, I have some interesting statistics here from the Trillium Foundation. And they say that in 2018, there were 2,413 tissue donors, an increase of 85% over the last 10 years. And I think that's probably got something to do with the Logan Boulet effect. That sparked such a giving and a registration to be an organ donor all across this country, like we said earlier, with over 200,000 people registering, more than 200,000 people registering on account of Logan, and what a great kid he was, and just has sparked a nation into a movement that we hope will carry on in his name and in honor of people like him, who even at such a young age we're aware of how vital it is to donate and to register. It's something that we want to keep going, isn't it?
And we will, because this year was the first Green Shirt Day to ever happen.
Yes.
And from our understanding, and we're sure about it because we're going to carry it on, I mean, that's going to be also next year. So we proudly wear our green in April 7 of every year, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. It's going to be Green Shirt Day, and this is just to grow. I mean, a lot of work done, but still... much in progress.
Much in progress and catching on like wildfire.
Yes, especially if you go on social media and you type in hashtag Green Shirt Day, you could read about the amazing story in all of Canada, and it's been recognized as Green Shirt Day. All the provinces celebrated, and you can also hashtag Logan Boulet effect.
Yeah.
Lots of stories.
Yeah. Well, and then you can also go to my website, freshwaves.ca, and listen to the interview with Toby Boulet, Logan's dad, and hear the backstory, hear how this all came to be. And they said in 2018, 333 deceased donors and 2,413 tissue donors. Wow. Excuse me. And 1,236 organ transplants. Wow.
Wow. That is amazing.
Okay, we're going to take a little break and hear the weather and things like that. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion on organ donation. Stay tuned.